welcome. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, guests and parishioners of St. Nicholas Church, to our third Thursday lecture series. We're honored tonight to have as our speaker Father Archimandrite Father Damon Geiger. He's pastor of St. Joseph's Melkite Church in Akron. He's a lecturer, renowned speaker and lecturer at our Cyril and Methodius Seminary in Pittsburgh. He has been a previous speaker here at St. Nicholas Church. And I'd just like to say that his previous talk and the other talks that he had had on these Thursdays are available on CD for just a nominal cost, even maybe just $1 in the Cultural Center here. But now that we are in the Great Fast, or Lent, we are offering a 2-week session for our talks. The topic is Theosis. Tonight's topic is, what is Byzantine spirituality all about? What do you mean that I'm called to become God? That doesn't sound right. Theosis, divinization, and deification. And then next week will be a complementary part 2 of this, so that we hope that you will find edification in tonight's lecture and that you will be hungry and looking for more, and we'll be back again next week. So please join me in welcoming Father Damon.
Dangerous. Wait till we finish. Slava Isu Christe. Christ is among us. Okay, the battle in Paris. Tonight's talk is going to be a little bit long, so I apologize for that, but if we don't make it as a unit, you're not going to catch some of the ideas. If at any point when I'm talking, you're lost totally, throw a book or stand up or yell and we'll stop and catch you up, because it's important you don't get lost along the way. So it might be good to start by praying. Blessed is our God at all times, now and always and forever and ever. Make us worthy, O Master, to dare with confidence and without fear of condemnation to call upon you as Father, O God of heaven, and to say, Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, now and always and forever and ever.
Amen.
At the end there will be time for questions if you don't have any in the middle of it, and we'll try to defend ourselves then. When I was pastor of St. George Melkite Greek Catholic Church in Birmingham, Alabama, we had in the parish a very talented man, Bill Zarzer. And Bill had a lot of jobs, and one of his jobs was he was a photographer. You know, he would take family portraits. He had a studio. And so the one day we were having Arabic coffee together, and he says, Abuna, he says, you know, I'm convinced people are nuts. I said, well, Bill, I kind of reached that opinion too, but why do you think they're nuts? And he says, well, they drive me crazy. They come into the studio, and they keep wanting more and more sittings in front of the camera. And they'll reject 6 or 8 proofs, and they want more. And when they sit for their portrait to be taken, they'll assume the most outlandish poses and grimaces and gestures. And he says, and I tell them, look, just be yourself. And they don't know what I mean. Says, and then he said, they'll look at the proofs, and they'll take the most flattering one, even if it's not really like them. And then he told me this, he said, and then they want me to touch it up, to lower a hairline, to erase wrinkles, to phase out pimples. And he did say, even in one case, they wanted him to correct the nose. Can you imagine? Plastic surgery on film. But what Bill was saying is that he felt that most people do not accept themselves for what they are. They don't know what it means to behave normally. And he feels that people, and I think he has some truth in it, that at times, if we're not careful, we're wearing masks. We're tense. You look at home, if the doorbell rings, what's the first thing we do? We look in the mirror. Ha ha! And I'm not just talking about women, but we do it. People are not sure who and what they are, and who and what they're supposed to be, or what they're meant to be. So in our culture here, very often people look at the movie stars, or the sports stars, or the TV personalities, to tell us what to look like, and how to dress, what attitudes we should have, what postures are in. On AOL, there was actually an article there on men's underwear. How with your personality, whether you wear a thong or briefs, it's saying something different to express who you are. And I'm saying that most of us don't walk around in our underwear. But think about it. We look to polls to judge how we should feel on issues. CNN will tell you how you should feel about this or that, or how we should do things, or how we should react. So if we're not careful, we're looking to a basically non-Christian society for directions on what we should be thinking and what we should be feeling. So when people ask questions like, what's life all about? What's life for? They look to TV or singles magazines or media celebrities or fashion designers or polls for the answers, or what's worse, they'll look to astrologers or horoscopes or cults, things like that. Even New Age stuff, you're channeling from spaceships, and aliens, the spirit masters. It's kind of sad. One of the top sellers for many years in our bookstores, The Virtue of Selfishness. The virtue of selfishness, to be self-centered. However, as Eastern Christians, our scriptures, our traditions say there's another place to look to know who and what we are, what we're supposed to be. And our tradition is very firm in saying, to find and understand ourselves, we must find and know God. If we do not know God, we can never, ever understand who we are and what we're meant to be. Now, why? Well, our Byzantine spirituality starts off saying this: our basic mystery is that we're created in the image of God and according to His likeness. In Genesis chapter 1, I quote, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and the cattle, and over all the wild animals, and all the creatures that crawl on the ground." God created man in His image. In the divine image He created him. Male and female He created him. God blessed them, saying, "Be fertile and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and the living things that move on the earth." That's who we are in our Byzantine tradition. God is the basic reality. We are like His reflection, His shadow. So the only way we can possibly understand what we're meant to be is not by looking at ourselves, but by knowing Him, the Lord our God, in His way.